Hi guys, this is our stream, Boutique Politic English. David Zadov is with me, and we're going to talk today about Iranian war Israel versus Iran, and potential involvement of United States. First, David, I want to ask you one thing. What do you think about American inclusion in the war entrance?
Because I think the war itself is unnecessary. That's a different conversation. But because I think the war itself is unnecessary, I would strongly discourage any U.S. involvement because, first of all, it would break Trump's own promise of no new wars, of peace, which is one of his biggest campaign promises. And then, that's pretty much it. Uh, I would not, I would be really against American involvement.
Because Israel, by itself, it cannot destroy the third and most important nuclear site that is in required to be destroyed according to strategy in this particular military conflict, because the thing is to destroy nuclear capabilities,
Well,
which
we didn't tell them to do that. They did that on their own, and they can go finish it themselves. We did not
we
say
by
we're
we
going to go
by
help
we
you.
you mean United States. Yeah,
Yeah.
but because the threat is to Israel first and to United States second. So Israel, as a sovereign country, allowed to take preliminary measures to protect its security. So it's not.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, if it's founded on reality, which it isn't.
It is
Uh,
founded on reality, that conversation. We cannot discuss facts now, because facts, they don't care about how you feel, and because Iran has a capability of creating nuclear weapon, which is not, according to Israeli doctrine, is affordable to Israel.
okay,
Capabilities are not affordable. That's
okay.
political realism.
Many countries have the quote unquote capability because they have enough uranium deposits to create a nuclear weapon if they wanted to. Capability is one conversation. Now, the IAEA, which
Mhm,
you mentioned in a personal conversation with me,
mhm.
said they found no evidence that Iran was developing or close to finishing a nuclear weapon.
That's not
They
what
released this
Israel is
report.
concerned of. But
Uh,
also in that report that you just right now referenced, IAEA said that Iran is in violation of non-proliferation agreement.
yes,
The
it did
first
say
thing.
that.
So that's the first thing. The second thing, again, we don't care even what, regardless of what Israeli political leadership is saying, Israel should not even should not care about how close Iran is to nuclear weapon. They should be concerned with capability to produce.
Okay, so why don't
And
they invade
I didn't
Turkey?
finish yet, hold on. And
So why don't we invade Turkey?
479 kilos of enriched plutonium to create 60%, meaning that in 2, 3 months' time, they can create from 5 to 6 nuclear bombs, but they didn't test it yet. So that is also thing that
Okay,
you can say
can I
in
respond?
return to me. I didn't
Okay,
finish yet. But
okay,
the thing is that they have the right to, if they consider existence of this capability to be a threat, serious threat to the state of Israel, they can preliminary act. That's what they did.
okay. If we're going to talk about capability is a very broad subject. In this note, Israel should invade Jordan and Turkey and any country that has the capability, quote unquote, to produce six nuclear weapons in a given amount of time. Iran is no different in this scenario, and also
It is different. I can
And
explain
also,
why.
okay, well, let me finish.
Yeah.
And also, Netanyahu specifically has been saying for the past 20 years that Iran is 2 or 3 months away from finishing a nuclear weapon. He even said this. He even said something similar with Iraq. He went on world stage and testified in 2002, along with George Bush, that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, and we know now that's completely false. It's fabrication. So he does not have a good track record when it comes to predicting nuclear bombs, and he is not the authority we should be looking to. Now, if we want to say that, um, if Israel det feels it is uh, a major threat, and then it has the right to act. Sure, it has the right to act, the physical right to, but not in the world, but not according to any international law. And also, um, it's the premise is false. So if the premise is false, yes, they have the right to do it, but it doesn't make it any less wrong. It doesn't mean we should get involved.
Let's go through all of your statements
Okay.
and let's address all of them.
Okay.
First, you remember that Menachem Begin, from history, you know that Menachem Begin was the first Israeli prime minister that gave an order to attack in 1981, if I'm not mistaken, Iraqi nuclear reactor. You know that, Oshirak.
I did not know that, no.
Okay, then you can check that later. So, so Iraq was developing a nuclear program that Israel could not afford. So they just bombed it against American will, by the way. So it's not the first time. First thing is Netanyahu is not the first. Second, uh, whatever Netanyahu was saying that Iran is a certain amount of time from producing the bomb was not a lie. They were in that particular, when you have, according to the science, if you have already plutonium enriched to grade 60, it takes for you maximum 3 months to upgrade it to more than 90, and that is a weapon grade plutonium. So they are, technically speaking, war. In the second they accumulated enough plutonium to produce bombs, they have the capability to do it in 2 or 3 months to weapon grade. They are in 2 or 3 months distance of producing a nuclear bomb if they wish. But because we're not interested in realism in intentions, are interested in capabilities instead, so that's enough reason. Third, any sovereign country in the world has the right to develop nuclear energy. No problem. I can tell you even more. Theoretically, any country that didn't sign non-proliferation agreement is has the sovereign right to develop a nuclear weapon also. Now, what's the Iranian? First of all, Iran did sign non-proliferation agreement, so they cannot legally develop nuclear weapon. But the thing is that we're talking about country that was behind October 7 and behind different activities of enemies of Israel on Israeli border for all of those decades. So allow that country to develop a nuclear weapon and to have even capabilities to develop such a weapon would be negligence during execution of executive powers by Netanyahu, of prime minister, who's supposed to be chief guarantor of Israeli security. So Israel was absolutely right, first from international law point of view, and second from a simple Israeli security point of view to start. So let's stop discussing was he righteous or not righteous, was it right decision or not right decision. It's already, we are in the process. Now, when we're in the process, the goal was declared to totally destroy Iranian nuclear capabilities. Now, they short of that goal right now on 30%. Considering that Natanz and Isfahan is already damaged beyond, but Forda is absolutely untouched because it's under mountain, underground, and under the mountain. And no Israeli bomb can penetrate that deep, but American mother of all bomb, which is 30,000-pound bomb, can penetrate. And America doesn't export those bombs, only United States has them. And that kind of thing that we actually, Israel is right now need to finish the job. Considering all this very impressive beginning of the war and those 5 days, I'm personally very much impressed with that, the art of war Israel demonstrated. But the thing is, with intelligence, with preparations, with everything, as with Hezbollah in November and September of 2024, now I'm very impressed with the Iranian attack that they launched. Now, the problem is they did amazing, tremendous job with the elimination of Iranian military commandment on a lot of levels, and already second chain of command already started to eliminate. So it's also happened. But the problem is that they cannot finish the job with nuclear capabilities. So tell me again, why are you against American assistance in this matter, considering that Iran, even under fire, didn't want to negotiate proper? Of course, Iran wouldn't negotiate surrender, as Trump said. Surrender, just surrender. It's simple as that. Just say we don't want it anymore. Just surrender. That meaning that probably president already made a decision.
Okay, what's your question?
My question is why again? Can you repeat now, considering everything we just said, you and me before? Why are you against American involvement to help Israel destroy nuclear Iranian capabilities?
Okay, so you said that Israel should have the Moab, mother of all bombs.
Not Israel. No, I didn't
America.
say that. I said
Uh-huh.
Israel doesn't have it.
Said Israel needs it to finish the job. So when
Yeah.
you're saying that, you're implying that America should give them to Israel.
No, should
Uh,
bomb.
but
That's what I implied. I'm sorry.
okay, you're saying America should be the one to carry out the strikes?
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of, don't you think it's irresponsible when Israel is also targeting areas that are inside of cities? If you deployed a Moab inside of if in a populated area, you would kill potentially hundreds or even more than 1,000 people
We're
because
talking.
the area it
I
covers
got you. I
is
got your question, David.
yeah.
No, no, no. I don't say in the cities. Fordo nuclear reactor is
You
not in the city
you don't think
itself.
they're hiding? You don't think they're hiding
Under
anything in the
mountain.
city?
Under mountain. Under
Okay.
mountain. That's not the city. It's under
Uh,
mountain, underground.
so there are weapons that are specifically designed for penetration into mountains and bunkers, which are not Moabs.
That's a Moab.
You do not need a Moab in order to penetrate. Moab is a surface bomb. It is meant to destroy as much as possible on the surface. It is not meant to penetrate bunkers. It's not a bunker buster. A Moab is meant to cause as much damage as possible in a given area. Um,
I think maybe there are some modifications because they were talking exactly about that 30,000 pound bomb to
mm.
get the Fordo reactor. So I don't think we it's mm, on technical page. I'm okay. Let's say again, why you're not pro American involvement to finish the job?
Because to finish a job is on false premises, because I don't think there was a job to be done in the first place. I already
Let's
went over this.
hold on. Let's assume the job is on righteous premises.
But I can't assume the job is on righteous premises because then you would be right. Yes,
No,
if the
David.
job was on righteous premises, then you
Again,
would
I'm
be right.
sorry. You think it's not right, but again, forget what we think. Let's assume the premises are righteous. If somebody would come to you like I'm right now coming to you and telling you that's the only option Israel had. Let's assume that this is the truth.
Yeah, let's assume they
In
could
this
prove.
particular
Yeah.
case, would you be agreeing that America should get involved?
Okay, yes, but it's not a genuine question. It's like, yes, you could form a hypothetical, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
form,
That's what I'm doing. Yeah,
but like
it's
if you form a
hypothetical
hypothetical,
question.
it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't get you
Okay,
anywhere. Because
I
you're
got you.
saying, yeah, like, what if the
Okay.
world was made of pudding? I don't understand. How is that going to help your argument? Like it's yes, if Israel had was doing this on righteous terms, if Israel was able to prove to the world sufficiently that Iran was about to finish nuclear weapons and had verifiable proof from independent organizations, then you could say, okay, maybe we need to do some intervention. Maybe America should get involved. This and this.
Okay, let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. First of all, Israel doesn't have to prove anything to the world in this particular case if it feels threatened. What's not to understand?
Oh my
What
God.
not to understand the nature of in the nature of
Okay.
threat itself? Let me
Because
explain again
Israel, yeah,
threat.
yeah, okay,
A
yeah, yeah.
threat. Let
Go
me
ahead, go ahead, sorry.
explain threat again.
Go ahead.
So why Israel is so against Iran that possess nuclear capabilities, not even bomb capabilities to create.
Because Iran wants to destroy Israel.
Not only that, it also wants to destroy United States, the regime, not
Yeah,
Iran as people of
yeah.
Iran. Uh, the regime would like to destroy, and they say it out loud, and they made effort to do it already on October 7th. We saw it's existential. So they did finance the structure that wanted to kill all of Jews. They did pay money to them. They did everything they did. Everything was done on Iranian money. So now, and training that Hamas militants got into Iran. So now, the thing is like that. So if the country that sponsors terrorism and represent huge threat to Israel's existence and security, possessing nuclear capabilities, why is it not righteous to attack those capabilities? I don't understand.
If, okay, capabilities. Jordan has capabilities. Egypt has capabilities. You
Jordan
can say
is not threatening
capabilities.
Israeli
Cap
existence. Again,
capabilities
forget
is a
about that.
different story. You could
You
say
don't
capabilities
answer.
all you
You
want,
not
because
answer the
almost
questions.
every
Please
country has the
answer.
capability to build a nuclear weapon.
Answer the questions again.
Yeah.
If you know that country is existential threat and present as existential threat, and talking about Israel as a cancer that should be removed, and death to Jews, death to Israel, death to America. That's citation. It's not. I'm not
Yes, I know
creating the
you're
word.
not creating a nerd.
Yeah.
What you're saying, but it's not a
So how
genuine
can
question.
you allow them to have nuclear capabilities? Again, please answer the question.
We're not. I'm not going on my way to allow them to have nuclear capabilities. You're getting upset over a question over a hypothetical that's not genuine. It's not a serious question. You
What
could
do you mean?
say what?
What's not
You are
serious in
creating.
existential threat
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Israel is that
You're
Iran
you're
represents? I don't
you're
understand.
painting a picture before, like, as you're asking the question, that would make an obvious right answer. Like, yes, if Iran had a nuclear weapon or was
I
about to
didn't
have a nuclear
say
weapon,
weapon,
yeah, okay.
capabilities to create.
Capability is a completely different story. No, almost every country has the capability to build a nuclear weapon.
No, no, it's not true. Depends how
If we
close.
give Israel the right to invade every country that it feels threatened by, then it has a ticket to invade almost every country in the Middle East and Africa.
But
This is not something you want to give them.
it's not how Israel feels. It's a matter of what those countries that threatens do. And they did a lot of damage to Israel last
Hmm.
couple of years. Israel almost ceased to exist on October 7. You have to understand existential threat.
Israel did not close. I'm
For
sorry, Dad.
2 days, they could not even assemble the force to fight. What do you mean?
Yeah, because it was Yom Kippur. What
No,
do
it
you mean?
was not a Yom
Oh,
Kippur.
sorry, Shemini
It was
Atzeres.
Simchas Torah, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Uh,
It doesn't matter. On Yom Kippur, they were assembling people right on this
but
day.
yes, the army was fatally unprepared. But Israel was not close to collapsing. It is one of the strongest militaries in the world. It was not
Yeah,
close
yeah,
to collapsing due on
yeah,
October
yeah.
7th. A few
You're right.
thousand terrorists came in.
A few
It was not,
thousand.
not about to collapse the country. I'm sorry, Dad.
It
So
was not, but
let's not say, yeah.
the thing that they represent was existential. The
Mhm.
threat was existential
Yes.
because it
When
could be together with the uprising in Yehuda Shomron and attacks from Hezbollah that started like almost next day after October 7 and October 8. So it was simultaneous on a couple of fronts. Now, again, what's wrong is preliminary strike on a target that represents very serious threat to the country. I don't understand. It's international law allows it.
because a serious threat is subjective, and if we let any country say, "Hey, I feel this country is a serious threat," then it can
David,
st
it's not about feeling. It's about what that country does.
Okay, fine. I can use a different word if you want, but fundamentally, that's
Please,
what it is. It's
please
about
use
feeling.
different word then.
Okay, if I assume, or if it's my disposition that this country is a threat, I that does not give me an immediate ticket to invade them. It does not make my invasion righteous in your terms. That does not. If we go around attacking and targeting every country that we feel like threatened by, then we have a ticket to invade almost every Eastern country without justification, without
David,
proper justification.
you're wrong. Why
Why?
you're wrong?
Why am I
Because
wrong?
it's not, again, it's not about how we feel about that
I didn't
country.
even say feeling. I
At
changed the word.
what that country does to us. It's
Okay.
not about our perception. It's about facts of what they were doing for last decades and how it manifested. So it's not about perception, it's about reality. So if in reality you have a threat to national security, you're allowed to act on the threat. And not only that, if you're not acting is a negligence. It's an act of negligence.
National, I'm sorry, Dad. National security, in this sense, when we talk about invading another country, is a buzzword,
We're
and
not
it's
invading.
historically been a
We're
buzzword.
not invading Iran. We're bombing nuclear capabilities and military commandment
Okay, and not invading.
chain
You're
of
right.
command.
We're just
We're
gonna
not
blow them.
invading.
We're just blowing them up. We're not bombing them.
Yes, we are blowing up
We're
nuclear
not invading them. We're
facilities.
just blowing them up. Uh,
I don't see anything funny about it, by the way.
national security is a buzzword. Okay, and to say national security when as a free like get out of jail free card whenever someone questions your like illegal invasion or sorry illegal bombing, uh,
Who said
is
it's
not
illegal? It's illegal bombing.
what makes it legal. What where
You want me to explain to you everything again?
Okay,
Was it
where
not enough 3 times
here,
already?
boil it down to the most fundamental aspect, and we can discuss it. Because
All
you
right.
said a lot of jargon when you talked about the legal justification for the bombing. Because I think it still boils down to the threat principle. Am I right? The realist principle
Yeah,
of
yeah,
okay, so we're still talking about the same thing.
yeah. We're talking the same thing. Iran presents existential threat to Israel, and Israel allowed to act it. You know that according to political realism, if country have existential threat, it can do whatever it takes. It will go even for existential risk to neutralize the existential threat, according to political realism theories. So, if, for example, the threat that right now exists for Israel from Iranian side is existential, Israel can go whatever to neutralize the threat, including existential risk that can be involved with that. And that attack possesses certain existential risk to Israeli existence also. Because we don't know that we didn't know before that we started Israel, before Israel started, magnitude of an answer. And only by perfect intelligence that they had already, and a lot of Mossad people working on Iranian soil already, they were able to neutralize a lot of potential answer to that what happened. So again, it's not about perception, it's about reality. Iran sponsored a lot of terrorist activities inside Israel, on the border of Israel. And I don't even want to list the terrorist organizations that threaten Israeli existence since, like, I would say 1982 at least. So if you're familiar with Israeli history, you understand that Iran stands and still standing behind a lot of terrorist activities in Israel and on the border, and a so-called Palestinian autonomy, and in Sinai Peninsula, and in Lebanon, and Syria, and every other places where terrorist organizations exist. A lot of them exist on Iranian money, Iranian weapons, Iranian training, and this and a lot of stuff. So to allow that country that already, besides declaring death to Israel and death to America, to possess nuclear capability would be negligence
Okay, so
on
tell me
Netanyahu.
why we wasted 2 years messing around in the Middle East trying to destroy Hamas battalions and enclose them and then do the same thing to Hezbollah when we could have just done this from the beginning if we always had a justification ever since
No,
October 7th.
first, because it's close to you. I ran 2,000 kilometers from Israel, but Hamas is on a border and Hezbollah is on a border, and that with this you have to deal at first. But then also Trump went to a negotiation process. Also, for a couple of months, he was on negotiation process. We were ready. Israel was ready to do it, but it didn't happen because Trump said no. Netanyahu, by the way, was ready already for by April 28, according to all informational sources. But Trump said, "Stop. Let me give it a chance." 2 months. He gave deadline. Deadline passed. It was very understandable for Trump and for Netanyahu that Iran still seeking nuclear capabilities. That was the reason they didn't want to do consortium, whatever Trump offered them. Very nice offering Trump made, by the way. He said, you will have enrichment till 3.67 for a couple of months to 6 months to a year, up to 1 year. But then it's going to be created consortium with your allies like Russia and other countries that will be able to enrich uranium for your peaceful programs. But you will not be able to enrich uranium because that gives you nuclear capabilities that we cannot afford. And they didn't say yes. They said, no, that's a red line. It's no go. We cannot negotiate our sovereign right to do nuclear enrichment. And that was like a straw that broke the camel back. That's it. And they got to act, and they acted. So I'm not talking about, again, let's go back. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Tell me, will Americans get involved?
Will them? Will they?
Yeah.
Probably. Um, I can't say anything else. I mean, it looks like they've been heading towards uh intervening in Iran for the past few days. Trump's getting more bold with what he's saying, and I think they're probably going to start throwing bombs at Iran, and I don't see it getting better from there. So
What do you think gonna happen? Is the regime change gonna happen in your opinion?
regime change,
Yeah.
no.
No.
When you start throwing bombs at Iran, you're inevitably going to kill civilians, and then that increases support for the regime.
That's
So,
happening. True.
like,
It's happening right now
yeah,
also.
it's the
Right.
most fundamental principle of anti-terrorism. So, good luck. But if you're gonna do it, um, don't expect a regime change. And the people are not going to have a change of heart. But to be fair, at least a good chunk of them do not support the regime, and I don't think they they their right to live is determined by whether or not they support the regime. But you are not going to achieve a regime change by throwing bombs at the problem. You're going to make it worse. You're going to push the goal farther away. If you can't have like two simultaneous goals of
Because
changing the
yeah, when you're
regime and
bombing,
yeah,
they cannot
yeah.
uprise. Right.
And that is also the mistake Israel made with Gaza. I have to say, if you're willing to agree with this on Iran, then you should be willing to agree with this in the context of Gaza. If you're throwing bombs at the problem, you're not going to increase civilian support. Hamas will remain entrenched
The
as
only
long.
thing I think in Gaza, the difference is that eventually they're going to clear up like 75% of the part of Gaza and repopulate it with Jews, and that's it. And end of story. That's probably what's going to
Okay, you
happen.
just described Lebanon. Um,
What I described?
Lebensraum. It was a Nazi concept of living space where you kick out all the ethnicities and then replace them with your own.
Don't
Uh,
no no they're kicking out them. They can allow a lot of them back,
a
but
lot of them
clear.
back. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Without
Like,
weapons,
yeah,
but without
right.
weapons and filtrated without Hamas representatives. That's what it is. We'll see how it's gonna unfold. Gaza gonna be subject of our conversations in the future,
Mhm.
especially that now operation is continuing in Gaza. Let's see how it's gonna be over in a couple of weeks, I think already, and then we'll see what's gonna be in reality. Because now they do not clear everything; they clear certain pockets.
Mm.
Uh, and over there already established permanent military presence. But we'll see how it's going to unfold because it's not yet clear. Chief of Staff of Israeli forces said, Eyal Zamir, Lieutenant General, he said that he needs 2 months to finish operation in Gaza to complete to achieve all goals. All commandment was already commander chain already dead, including youngest Sinvar brother that was a chief commander of Hamas forces in Gaza is already killed and confirmed. So we'll see how it's going to be. Because they right now, Egypt asking Israelis to come to Cairo and talk again about freeing hostages and Hamas and talk to Hamas again. So probably while Iranians right now, while Israel fight with Iran, Gaza track didn't go anywhere. So they're going to talk and discuss, and probably we're going to see ceasefire in Gaza sooner than we think. We'll
Mm.
see. But for Iran, you think that most likely United States will get involved, right?
Yeah.
We would bring destruction of all nuclear capabilities of Iran, in your opinion?
No. It might bring the destruction of their civilian capabilities. I don't know because we don't know to the extent of which their military nuclear program has progressed, if at all. I don't think we'll be able to quantify that, but I know that their civilian programs will probably be pretty hindered by this. So, mm,
Thank you. I'm
no
sorry
problem.
for it was very like lot of a lot of discussions.
Yeah, very heated.
Heated discussion. That's what I was looking for. But it's a very important subject. We'll see how it's going to be developing. Thank you very much for your participation. And I'm
Thank you
looking
for having
forward
me.
to do stream in the future in a week, maybe even
Mm,
earlier.
mm,
Depends on what we're going to see soon. Thank
okay.
you,
Thank
David
you.
Zadov. Thank you very much, and we'll talk. Bye bye.
Bye bye.